Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. I want to just talk to you about your planning. You know, the planning that you do before you decide to move overseas. You know, you have it on your mind. You want to move out of the United States. You want to move in another country. You know, you want to move to another country. Excuse me. Just want to talk to you about your planning and how important it is for you to have those plans, you know, set in place, you know, and have a lot of things straight before you move, so that you don't get overseas and you know, bad things start to happen and now you're stuck, you know what I'm saying, and you don't know what to do and all that stuff, or you don't have any money or whatever it might be. And you know, I really want to help you guys avoid that, you know, and I'm speaking, you know, mainly because of myself, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm still here in Colombia, you know, but I'm in a situation now where I may have to return to the United States for a little bit, you know, don't know how long. You know, obviously my goal is still to live here in Colombia, but yeah, I may have to return to the United States for a little while and get some things together and then come back, you know. And part of the reason for that is because I made some mistakes myself with planning to move overseas, you know, and now it's affected me. And you know, now I'm in a situation where, yeah, like I said, I might have to return home, and it sucks, you know what I'm saying, because I love living here. I love being in Colombia, you know, and this is where I want to spend the rest of my life, you know what I'm saying. I'm 56 years old, so I don't want to be anywhere else, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so I definitely want to make sure that, you know, I talk about this with you guys, because, you know, as you plan to move overseas and everything, I don't want you to make any mistakes and then have to go back to the United States for a little while and regroup and get things together, then move back again, you know, out of the country. Or sometimes when people have to leave and go back to the United States, they get into a situation where they may not be able to move back again, you know what I'm saying, move back out of the country again, you know. So if you leave the United States, you move overseas, you know, I like to see you in the situation where it's a permanent move, you know what I'm saying, and you don't have to go back. Yeah, so obviously the most important thing when you want to move overseas is making sure that you got your money together, you know, your savings, you know, whatever it might come from, pension plan, or, you know what I'm saying, you got money put away in the bank. You want to make sure that you have more than enough savings. I can't give you a certain amount that you should have, but, you know, you want to make sure that you're comfortable, where you're going to be able to take care of yourself. You know, and that stays in case there's an emergency or anything, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, make sure you got your money taken care of, you know, saved up and everything. And as you're making your plans to move overseas, and you know you want to leave, you know, cut back on your spending, you know, on unnecessary things that you might be buying in the United States, you know what I'm saying? You know that you want to leave in the next year or so to move overseas, then you know for the next year that you can't spend money going out to eat and going out to and entertain yourself and stuff. You know, your money is just going to have to go towards what's necessary, and everything else is going to go in the bank. You know, so you can have that saving when you move overseas. And the next thing, obviously, is when you do move overseas, you want to make sure that you have a steady income coming in. You know, you don't want to have a maybe income, or you hope that this comes in or something like that. You want to make sure that your money is steady. And so, yeah, obviously, the best way to do that is to lock down a remote job that's going to give you a paycheck every week. All right. Now, realistically, that's becoming harder and harder to come by. You know, a lot of these companies just not hiring for remote jobs anymore. Yeah, but you want to make sure that you got something where you know steady income is going to be coming in on a weekly basis, you know, while you're overseas and everything. So even if it's from a business that you own, that you're going to be operating while you're overseas, you want to make sure that your business is in a situation before you move, where you know that there's income coming in from that business, that is going to continue to come in. Same thing if you're creating and selling digital products online or something like that. Yeah, you want to make sure that there's some regular money coming in. Freelancing, same thing. So that's why it's very important. Yeah, you want to have a steady income coming in, but you also want to have multiple streams of income coming in as well while you're living overseas. And you want to make sure that's going to be a regular thing. And you're not going to be in a situation where all of a sudden that dries up and you have nothing, So that's the most, like I said, financially, that's the most important part of your planning for living overseas, and making sure that you're straight with money and you're not going to ever run out or anything like that. Yeah. And so, the other thing, part of your planning when you move overseas, and people don't realize how important this is, and this is why you should visit countries before you decide to move there, and start building up your network overseas. Whatever country you're going to be living in, you should make sure that when you get to that country, you start building up a network there. And get out and start making some friends, business contacts, whatever it may be. So that way, at least, if something happens to you while you're overseas, you got your family and friends back home in the United States. They're going to be there, but they're going to be there, from a distance. But you're going to need people that are right there in front of you, that you may be able to go to if you need something. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just be stuck overseas somewhere by yourself without anybody around locally. Yeah. So that should be part of your plan as well, is when you go overseas to visit these countries before you decide to move, start meeting people, start building up a network. Start meeting other expats that live in that area, and meet local people, That's why I always stress that the Meetup app is so important. Go to those events and everything. Yeah, so that should be part of your planning as well. Have that strategy put together, have a good plan in place, have an emergency plan put in place too as part of your planning strategy. Just in case things go wrong, Don't get overseas and think that everything's gonna be perfectly fine while you're there. You're out of the United States, you're gonna be okay. Because it's not always rosy. Things can happen to you, and you need to, like I said, plan for whatever emergency arises. All right. So this is something I want you guys to comment on when you see the video, and ask me questions about. What type of things should you plan for? How do you put your plan together and everything, so we can talk about that and discuss it, so that you don't have any issues. All right. So, as always, please like and share the video. Hit the like button and share the video. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And another thing, check my link tree that's in the description and everything. Check the resources that I have available in my link tree. And also, there's a link in my link tree where you can support me as a content creator. I appreciate that as well. I know some of you have already, and always appreciate that. But yeah, definitely hit me in the comments, and let's talk about planning your trip overseas. I mean, your move overseas, not just your trip. The importance of just putting a plan together and making sure everything in place. All right. As always, thank you for joining me. It's the old head of broad, KJ Mack, and I'll see you the next time.